Hello, welcome to another surprise stream. White Bat audio with some background music today. And we are taking a look at the first issue of ToyFare. September 1997. Wasn't too long ago that the final issue of ToyFare hit the stands. So let's take a look at the first one. Let me know if my audio is okay here. I'm listening to my own stream here, which is on 5-second delay. It sounds okay to me. Don't know if the music is a little loud. Might be okay. Okay, ToyFare number 1. Micah, good to see ya. And we've got an AT-AT walker. Awesome. Thanks for the confirmation. So, cover of ToyFare number 1. It's a little loud for me, actually. There we go. AT-AT walker on the cover here. Star Trek action figures you'll never see. Spidey. Toy Biz does Migos in quotes. Maybe they didn't have the rights to call them Migos. We've got some snow speeders wrapping up the walker. Man, I used to love this magazine. Got a whole boatload of them. Funkster. The Funkster is here. Good to see you, Jake. A Cubs game and a Mercy stream. What a great day off. Awesome. Hope you enjoy it. Good afternoon, Michael. That name sounds familiar. Hangar 18. So, just like I like about the vintage comics, this particular scan, which I'm going through from archive.org there, they scanned everything, including the old advertisements. So, what am I doing here? Can we zoom in like I did on the EGM? Yes. Beautiful. Taking a look at some, that looks like Power of the Force. I guess those hadn't been out for very long, the Power of the Force. And those, I think, were the ones mentioned on the cover, the Migos style Star Trek figures. Ah, there's one for Micah. Let's zoom in. There's some Kiss figures from McFarlane Toys. Paul, Gene, Peter, and Ace. Some Spawn stuff. More Spawn stuff. Trek. Here we go. Let's see what's on the next page. Oh, wait a second. Some classic WWF figures. Bret the Hitman Hart. Canadian Pride and Joy. Psycho Sid. Rest in peace. Passed away not too long ago. World class detail. That's awesome. Some X-Men stuff. How big is this thing? 100 pages? Hopefully not as long as that first EGM issue. That thing was humongous. Jake says the roided Star Wars line. You know, some things get better with age. They age like fine wine. The prequels definitely, I think, for me, have aged like fine wine, or at least they've improved. I like them better now than I did when they first came out. But those, looking up at them, the super muscle Star Wars figures, I guess it was the time. Everything looked like that at the time. But, boy, have they gone in an opposite direction. Hey, Boba Wave, good to see you. Welcome to the surprise stream. What's this section here? Mastheads. Oh, it's the staff. Editor-in-chief, editor, That's kind of cool. They're not using fake names like they did on EGM. Inside the monkey house. What is this? Now, I haven't flipped through this probably since 1997. So, I have no idea what I'm going to see in here. Feel the love, feel the hate. Wow, even in 1997, grown men were hating on children's toys. I guess some things will never change. It's a privilege to be a grown man and be able to collect and talk about toys. Let's see here. There's a Brandon Lee Crow figure over here, special edition cold cast porcelain statue. Simulated leather overcoat, simulated leather. You know, that would be something if some of these companies used actual real leather. Mainly like Hot Toys, because a lot of Hot Toys and 1/6 scale figures, they have that problem where the leather all just falls apart, flex away. It doesn't bother me on figures like Mad Max where it's supposed to look all messed up, but you know, on anything else like the Terminator or the Crow, you want it looking fairly nice, even though the Crow should have a bunch of holes in his. I wonder why they don't use real leather. I don't recall ever seeing real leather on a 1/6 scale figure. Maybe it's too thick at that scale. They need something a little smaller. Zach's backyard. Uh-oh. That looks like a husky. Malamute. Very, very similar. Now that's funny. I've got a husky. And I've seen videos about how destructive huskies and malamutes can be. My husky's 13. He has never, ever done anything like that. Ever. He knows his toys. We give him his chew toys, and he knows what's his. We keep him in a basket for him. But he has never picked up anything. Not a slipper, not a shoe, not if I had a toy. I don't leave toys lying around, but if I did, never. Never picked it up, tried to chew on it. Never happened. But my husky gets lots of exercise. So I think that's it. I think a lot of dogs that are destructive, that dig, that chew on things, maybe they're not getting enough exercise. You might be able to say that for human beings too. Maybe the more exercise human beings get, the less destructive they get as well. Same here. All right, let's zoom out. Not zooming out. We've got, is this a Spider-Man in a hot tub? Hey, somebody tell the Cabana Boy to turn the heat down. I'm roasting here. He's got his Spidey tights hanging out. Coming at you each and every month with the latest news, action figure previews, and the #1 collectible toy price guide on the market. I remember there was another one at the same time. I think it was called Lee's price guide. It was not as fun as this one. I think it was less pictures and upcoming news and more just straight up prices. Destiny, some kind of advertisement. Awesome applause. So 97, these were the days before. It's overboard now. It's like sometimes you have 4 companies working on the same license. 18-inch figures, 12-inch figures, 9-inch or 8-inch figures, Mego, 6-inch figures, 4-inch figures. So, but back then I remember applause, especially for the Star Wars little figurines. They weren't posable, but before Kenner Hasbro started doing the muscled up Star Wars figures, I'd see these applause sets all over the place, and I mean, that's what you got. Back in my day, a lot of action figures weren't posable. Not great by today's standards, not even great by 1997 standards. But they had the licenses and they were doing them. Hey Conquer, good to see ya. Doing good, thank you. How about yourself? ToyFare News, Licensing International 97, next year's biggest toys. So we got an article here talking about things to come. The force is still with Hasbro and Galoob. Talking about upcoming Star Wars toys. Ah, look at this. 97, right? So a few years before The Phantom Menace. And they've got the scoop on the first prequel movie. Ewan McGregor as young Ben Kenobi. Well, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Liam Neeson as a Jedi Master. I wonder what his name is going to be in that Star Wars movie. Samuel L. Jackson, a cameo role. So they didn't even know he was playing a Jedi. And it certainly was a cameo. Phantom Menace, it was a very tiny role. And then again, he didn't really have anything big to do in any of the prequels. He had a bit more in Attack of the Clones and then a bit more in Revenge of the Sith, but there's very, very little for him to do in those movies. Hey, Boba Hicks, good to see ya. Good evening to you, probably, over in your part of the world. Power of the Force 2. Yeah, they're over-muscled. Everyone says it. It's true. That's good to hear. It's true they are overly muscular, but, you know, like, I didn't grow up on Kenner Star Wars, but I get it when people love them. You know, I look at them and I just think, whew, you know, those don't compare to my G.I. Joes of my childhood. But, you know, those were my teenagehood Star Wars figures. Since I never had the Kenner ones growing up, I grew up on on these ridiculous things. And so, you know, I'm clouded by nostalgia, despite the Stormtroopers don't look too muscular. Chewbacca, they kind of beefed him up. Those are my, you know, I don't see the flaws because I was so excited to get those. I wanted the vintage ones so bad, but you couldn't get them anymore. There were no toy shows, toy fairs at the time. One place in Kitchener had them. I forget what it was called. It wasn't even like a vintage collector shop. Those things didn't even exist. It was like a coffee house that had a small cabinet of vintage Star Wars figures. So that wasn't even their main thing. It was just like an extra thing on the side. And even then they were really expensive. So the Kenner ones, they sucked, but they were there, they were mint, and they were cheap. I had these. These were fun. The 12-inch Tauntaun. This thing was humongous. And I had this too. Gotten rid of both in the meantime, but this thing really sucked. The Wampa. It couldn't stand. It couldn't do what it's doing right here. It was more like a plush. Like a baby floppy plush toy. Mine couldn't stand. It couldn't pose like this, I don't think. And it just kind of, it looked like a dog chew toy. It did not look anything like this. But the Tauntaun was very nice. It had a major problem too, though. It couldn't stand. It was made of some really floppy, mushy plastic. Not super bendy like an old Mattel He-Man accessory, but it collapsed under its own weight. It just kept bending forward, flopping forward. There's just too much weight here, especially if you put a figure on them. And it just kept falling forward. So as nice as it looked, you always had to have something propping it up. New person has entered the chat here. Try to zoom in here. That's not helping. That's better. Titans of Tomorrow was one store that sold vintage Kenner Star Wars. I don't remember ever hearing about that one. So you're from Kitchener. Um, the one I'm thinking of was in Waterloo, but like close to Kitchener, like uptown Waterloo. I always thought it was strange how they called. It's cool to be talking to a Kitchener right here. They called downtown Kitchener area. That's downtown Kitchener, and then you drive up the road 10 minutes, and that's uptown Waterloo. It's downtown Kitchener, and close to it is uptown Waterloo. And I never really heard anyone talk about downtown Waterloo or uptown Kitchener. It was just always downtown Kitchener, uptown Waterloo. Anyways, the place I'm thinking of was uptown Waterloo near the Princess Cinema. Something with a monkey in it. It might have actually been on Princess Street, but it was like a coffee shop called something Monkey, something like that. That's the one I'm thinking of. From Waterloo. Don't remember that coffee shop. Yeah, it was across from not the Princess on King Street, but there was another Princess. Like the same guy owned both of them. So there was another theater up there, and right across from there was some kind of coffee shop that sold vintage Star Wars in the either early or mid 90s. Let's zoom out here. Did we get everything on the last page? Yeah, we did. What page are we on here? Mac Attack, Switchblade. Don't know what that is. Classic Universal Monsters. Are these the Mego? Wow. I feel like I just saw these like a year ago at Toys R Us. Oh, that was Hasbro though. So I saw the Mego ones. Mego is still going or in some form. This thing is really sensitive. Trackpad. Toy of the month. What is this section here? Oh, there you go. That's it. Orange Monkey. That's it. Orange Monkey music beside the Jane Bond. Wow, you've got all the info here. Beside the Jane Bond. That's right. Across from the Princess. That was Vince that used to sell them. You're bringing back some memories. Man, that's awesome. I totally forgot about Jane Bond. Yeah. So Orange Monkey music. So Jane Bond was the coffee place, right? But I don't know. I thought they were kind of connected somehow. But yeah, the good old days. I think all of that's gone now. Those 12-inch Universal Monsters are the Toys R Us ones. Oh, okay, 12-inch. Right, the Toys R Us ones are the 8-inch Megos. Okay, gotcha. There were 4 main toy magazines back in the day. Diamond, Lee's, Toy Marts. I totally forgot about Toy Marts. Toy Mart? Was it Toy Mart or Toy Marts? And ToyFare. ToyFare was the one I usually got. But there's some good stuff. Good stuff back in the day. Toy of the month. July's coolest action figure, Swarm. Swarm, the Spider-Man villain, composed entirely of intelligent killer bees. He's made of bees. That's quite the villain there. I've never heard of Swarm. Composed entirely of intelligent killer bees. You learn something new every day, especially when you're talking about classic Marvel. He's got a swell purple cape and neat gloves. I love the writing of ToyFare. They never took anything very seriously. And his giant eyes and skull-like grin remain. He kind of reminds me of Sleepwalker a little bit. Bob Budiansky's Sleepwalker. Part of Toy Biz's new Spider-Man Spider Force assortment. Available at all toy and comic book hobby shops. He's superposable. Can you believe that? 11 points of articulation. This is basically a He-Man Origins figure. So at the time, in 1997, 11 points of articulation was considered superposable. Composed of bees. Man, that's awesome. That kind of reminds me, for the wrestling fans, was it Paul London? Paul London and Brian Danielson. they had a tag team called the Danger Bees. And that's got to be one of the silliest, coolest tag team names ever. All right, next page. Page 19. 18. I've never been interested in Spawn. I saw the movie, didn't think it was that good, and then none of the toys I really cared about. Company updates. This is... Whoops. Man, is this thing ever sensitive? Zoom in. Cameraman, zoom it. It's fun to go through these old updates, like the Phantom Menace one we just saw, and see what's in store for the future, and see what actually happened and what didn't. Warrior Nun will be featured in a full-length animated video. I don't know what any of that is. Galoob has made select toys available through direct phone orders. So Galoob was still around. I guess they were doing those Star Wars. The Star Wars miniatures, I think they were doing those. Action Fleet. Action Fleet was great. So there's like a current line of micro Star Wars toys that really harken back to Action Fleet. Okay. Hasbro, New Ventures, first ever 12-inch hockey action figure. Arrives this month. Bobby Orr got his own 12-inch... Aw, KB. Rest in peace, KB. Kenner's Batman Total Justice line will be discontinued following the shipping of Wave 3 action figures. McFarlane is very busy from what we've seen so far. And... oh boy, this brings back some memories. Raving Toy Maniac. Wow. Raving Toy Maniac. Toymania.com. That's right, folks. The World Wide Web is good for more than bomb recipes and downloading naked pics of Terry Hatcher or the Pink Ranger. There's toys in them homepages. So early days of the internet, not that many websites. Is this the site I'm thinking of? Toy Mania. That sounds familiar. It might still be going, actually. The way back it was the Sears Christmas catalog. Love those too. I've been through a bunch of them. Someday I'll do another one of them, but I feel like I've done a whole bunch of them. That's why I'm going through these old magazines. Magazines were basically the progression of the old Sears and, in Canada, Consumers Distributing catalogs. Those ended for us, or just cool stuff stopped appearing in them. So it was nice to get magazines like Electronic Gaming Monthly and ToyFare and the like. And that's it. Print is dead now. Now it's all websites. That's a name to bring up memories. The website is still up, but hasn't been updated since 2018. Well, it's nice that it's still up. Hey, Vincent, good to see you. That's nice that it's still there. Wow, that's a long time. That's a very long time. All right, next page. More news. I like how there's toy news a few pages back, and then you flip a few pages, and there's some more toy news over here, and some more toy news over here. I wonder if there's... yeah. Zoom in here. Puppet Masters. Is that Blade? Yeah, it says Blade. Man, the scan is incredible quality. I'm really zoomed in here. Look how crisp that text is. This is crisper than if you had the actual magazine. Joystick Magazine was a gaming one. Never heard of Joystick. X-Men, Toy Biz. What the hey? WWF Heroes of Wrestling. We saw those earlier. So this is similar to Electronic Gaming Monthly, which I just went through last week. Is that you'll see an ad for something, and then they'll talk about it, like a few pages afterwards. They really drive it into your head. Latest toy craze amounts to Hill of Beans. Oh, beanies. Is that Jaws? Jaws Beanie Baby? The next page. ToyFare takes a gander at the hottest new releases. All right, get ready for some exciting new releases, which are at this point, how many? Over 20 years? Almost 30 years, jeez. What's Wolvie saying here? Hey, quit giggling at poor Wolvie here. The actual figure will have a proportionate head. This is just a prototype. Whenever I read Wolverine comics, I hear Cal Dodd from X-Men animated series. He's it's funny how, like, I love Hugh Jackman in the movies. He's the definitive Wolverine, but when I read comics, I hear Cal Dodd. Just like when I read comics of Batman, I hear Kevin Conroy, the definitive Batman. Model Citizen. Star Maker. Kenner's Tim Hall propels Star Wars toys to new heights of popularity. Power of the Force 2. Zan says that Storm figure rules. This one right here. Nice claws on Wolverine. Oh, Spider-Man has a little bit of webbing under the arms. Cool Green Goblin. Oh, look at that. You can actually unmask Spidey to see Peter Parker. And Power of the Force 2 toys. Tim Hall. Wow. Before the prequels. When only the original trilogy and a few books existed. I remember those. Those were the light-up figures. They had gigantic backs because that's where the batteries were, and their lightsabers could light up. These weren't bad. By this point, they weren't as bulky. But this Lando right here, this Han, look at this Han Solo. It looks ridiculous. Vader kind of got away with it because David Prowse was a big hulking guy. But like this Luke is just terrible. The Leia looked. Whew. Oh, they had the Spirit Bend there. That was Lay's chips. I think Lay's chips mail away. Get them free with a couple proofs of purchase of Lay's. And there's an Emperor here. What's the Emperor saying here? The release schedule of the Kenner Star Wars line has proceeded according to my desire. Tan-vested Luke. Meh. He's supposed to be saying meh? Me. Weird long lightsabers. Me. Oh, okay. It was him doing it. Removable hologram stickers. All me. So any defects, maybe they should have included, overly buffed up figures. Me. Now I shall reveal all the variants I have planned for the remainder of 1997 to drive you and your friends on the Endor moon mad. That's pretty cool. That's my favorite Star Wars era, the original trilogy, and I love seeing anything that's just free and clear of the prequels and everything else. So it looks like we've got Jeopardy. Some of the figures are on Jeopardy with Alex Trebek. The science team often lends Superman a hand. What is Star Labs? Click, click, click. Someone has tampered with Doom's wires. Who dares to? Should I be reading this in Robert Downey Jr.'s voice? Who dares to? What's this? A knife. Insolent worm, you dare meddle in the affairs of Doom. Wow. Okay. Oh, he smushed him. Smish. Oh, and an Alex Trebek figure. Rest in peace, Alex Trebek. Those look pretty fun to make. Oh, the chips. That's cool. Paunch. The chips beat down Doctor Doom. This, I think, was a precursor to Robot Chicken. If anyone can confirm or deny, was this before Robot Chicken? Because it seems like a very Robot Chicken type of sketch. I don't know if Robot Chicken was a thing at this time. So I could just Google that myself. Robot Chicken. When would that have started? 2005? 2005. So quite a few years after ToyFare. I wonder if they were influenced by this. Bullseye. One of Daredevil's main nemesis. Oh, I just remembered there were some exclusives you could get through ToyFare, because I got what was it? A Mossman. He's up there. I can't reach him. 2000X He-Man Mossman, I think, was a ToyFare exclusive. Jake says the Shadows of the Empire line was about this time too, right? I believe so. Shadows of the Empire. 96. Book came out in 96. So yeah, the figures would have been... Well, they timed that. They coordinated all that. Like all of that just hit at the same time. So if the book came out in 96, I think the figures did too. But... yeah, they hadn't been out for very long. You know, if they fit in scale with the lines I already have, I would totally buy a Alex Trebek, Pat Sajak, Vanna White action figure 3-pack. That's something that no one's ever explored. I saw they just recently did Three's Company figures, and Golden Girls got some figures. But we've never seen the Legends of game shows, and you might be onto something. Can you imagine Alex Trebek, Bob Barker, Pat Sajak, multi-pack, and include Vanna White, 4-pack? That would probably sell. A lot of people have fond memories of those game show hosts. The Final Frontier. This looks like Playmates? Playmates Star Trek figures? ToyFare spotlights the top 10 Star Trek figures you'll never see. Okay. Shirtless Kirk. So they've done some customizing here. What else we got here? Doomed Red Shirt. Ponfar Spock. Oh my goodness. The Horta. I don't know what that reference is. the Horta. Nougat. It's cool they actually did some customizing work here. Space Lincoln. Which one of these was the chick? Styrofoam Cube guys. Oh, Harlan Ellison. I know that name because he sued James Cameron for Terminator, claiming that Cameron ripped him off when he wrote Terminator. Yeah, it was a great one. Quite a few issues of it too, so might not be the last time I stream a ToyFare magazine. Yeah, that's how James Cameron describes Harlan Ellison. The city on the edge of forever. You bleeping, bleep, stupid, rat, bleep, dumb, bleep, trouser waffle. Someone get me my Klingon. Mashed transporter guy. Oh, that's nasty. Whoops. Transporter accident guy. You know, it's funny. They're doing this list of figures you'll never see, but now in 2025, like, there's nothing that's too silly, too absurd, or too obscure. We've seen some really obscure, ridiculous, you could even say inappropriate figures by now, so none of these would be off the table. The Funkster says they joked about that shirt off in Galaxy Quest. Yeah, that's a great movie. The Roman Midget and Drunken Scotty. Okay, it's funny. Canadian Hero, Mr. Scott, James Doohan. Toy Story. Retrospective look at action figures. Oh, this is so cool. This is cool that they did this. So in the initial issue of ToyFare, talking about all new toys and toys to come, they took an article here to look back at some classic toys. And I've got this one thanks to good brother Bill. He gifted me that a few years ago. So I've got Dirk Benedict and Lorne Green up on the medley shelf. Freeze or the giant walking lipstick gets it. I guess that's the lipstick right there, and that's a Cylon. Battlestar Galactica, by your command. There's oh, that's cool, a checklist of all the Battlestar figures they made. Adama, Centurion, Daggett, Imperious Leader, Starbuck, Obion. And then they did a second series. 12-inch figures, vehicles. That line did pretty good for a quick little thing. I wonder what that guy is doing now. Let's see here. Customizing. That's cool. What a great magazine. How-to tutorial on how to customize your own figures. Inquest. Anyone remember the Inquest gaming magazine? I don't. Homemade Heroes. Oh, showing some customs. You know, I really miss these days when you could take a picture of your custom that you worked so hard on, send it into a magazine, get it featured. You know, what's really nice is that there was no peanut gallery when you did that. It seems today that so many people only go on the internet because they're looking to, I always call it recreational abuse. Their sole purpose for speaking up is to disagree, argue, chastise, tear down. And so I see these great customs and I just think, you know, it could be some nice kid who made that. He loves it, sends it in. You post that on the internet today, and you're guaranteed a couple of comments, not only trashing this, but trashing the person who made it. It's too easy to insult people from a safe distance these days. I wish more people would use the block and just put their foot down and say no. If that's how you behave, you're getting booted from the Facebook group, you're getting banned from the forum. Like, just, it shouldn't be tolerated. Taking personal pot shots at people just because they're sharing a picture of something they made. Be a member of KISS. It's another one for Micah and all the KISS fans out there. Oh, that's cool. The KISS guys with their own figures. Wow. Wild. Some great pics here. Some of these guys look like they really like their own figure. That's so cool. That's great. It's rare to see old pictures of like actors or musicians holding toys of themselves. There's a great one of the A-Team holding A-Team figures, and most of the guys look like they couldn't care less. I think George Peppard was holding his figure, and it's like, okay, whatever. Yeah, I thought you'd like those. What were the prizes? Grand prize. One lucky reader will win our 4 KISS action figures. An authentic KISS jacket, a KISS t-shirt, and a random KISS CD. You'll be rocking and rolling with prizes. That's a great contest. Are they still around, Micah? Are they still touring? No, AC/DC is. They just played Detroit. A friend of mine just went to see AC/DC in Detroit. So if AC/DC is still around, I would think KISS would be too. Although I don't know if they get along anymore. I know a while back someone asked, it might have been Gene, but maybe it was one of the other guys, and he just said, we don't make good music together anymore. And if we don't make good music, why would we get back together? And so obviously, like, he was asked, well, for money. And the guy was like, I don't care. It's like, Elon, offer me money. Offer me power. I had this. This was awesome. They gave these away at the Return of the Jedi special edition theater screening. If you were one of the first, it might have been 50 people in line. So I camped out, one of the few times I've ever camped out at a movie theater, and got one of these figures. I already had this Luke on an orange card, but it was cool to get that until the bubble fell off. And as far as I know, every bubble fell off these. They used a different type of glue on these theater exclusive figures than on the regular ones, which are still stuck to this day. You see them at every toy convention now. I think they're still touring. They'd be cool to see too. They're like Sting. They don't age because of their face paint, if they're still doing that. Anyway, yeah, I put it away for a few years, and when I looked at it again, the bubble had fallen off, and that really sucked. So I think I just gave it away. What do we got here? Top 10 hottest action figures of 1997, at least September of 97. And yeah, that was in demand, that guy right there, because like I said, you had to wait in line. You got him for free with your movie, but there weren't a lot of them. So that was a real cool thing to pick up at the theater. Rebel Fleet Trooper. Some of those Power of the Force 2 figures were really rare. You look back in hindsight, like, why would that one be rare? It just was. I remember Leia was impossible to get when the line first came out. The Power of the Force 2 line. For some reason, you just couldn't find Leia. She was short packed, that's why. Because they intentionally made less. Leia and Endor gear. This was a mail away, wasn't it? Figrin Dan? Remember that being a mail away. I love this figure right here. Got a bunch of them actually, since they came free with a bunch of proofs of purchase with Lay's chips. So I just bought a bunch of Lay's chips and sent in for a bunch of them. Gave a few away. I'm fully posable from a certain point of view. No, none of mine were ever posable. Maybe they were supposed to be, but the arms and head on mine never moved. But beautiful looking figure. Put a light under him. Lights up really nicely. Admiral Akbar. Why? Why would that be rare? I don't know. Or on a top 10 list. I don't know. Harley Quinn is number 9, and Asp Droid. Number 10. Oh, I'm out of order here. Dengar Forlom. Castaway. ToyFare Market Watch. Wow, this was a very comprehensive toy magazine at the time. Talking about variants, upcoming toys. Saw some of these mentioned earlier. How to use the ToyFare price guide. ToyFare price guide. This should be fun. Oh, what's this little thing here? You can't have any pudding if you don't eat your meat. What the hell are you talking about? Just a box. All in all, it's just another brick in the wall. This could be fun, going through some of these. Hey Greg, how you doing? Good to see you in the chat. Hope you're well. Doing good, thanks. I worked at Toys R Us when the Power of the Force 2 line came out. It was chaotic to say the least. It was exciting too. Yeah, them were the days. I love those figures. Never held on to any of my carded collection. Gave them away. But it was cool to be able to experience that. Because everyone else had that experience, or a lot of old-time Star Wars fans had that experience of getting the Kenner ones. And I appreciated being able to, you know, go through that about 10 years after everyone else did, maybe 15 years after. Let's take a look at some prices here. See if we recognize anybody here. None of these are ringing a bell. I have no idea what any of this stuff is. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, that's why. I don't know anything about that. Adventures of Batman and Robin. Ah, Aliens. Okay. I've got some of these. This should be funny. What's the first? I'm guessing the first column is carded, and then the second is loose. So, 1997 prices. Let's go up here and actually check some of the ones I have. This is cool. What do I have here? I got Bishop. $12. And now these are American prices, so I always had to do the Canadian conversion. Let's do the math here. $12 in 1997 for, I'm guessing, carded Bishop. I paid, I think, 20 Canadian for mine a couple of years ago at a comic shop. 20 Canadian is... I always make a joke about how weak the Canadian dollar is, but let's actually get the proper conversion. I'm just hopping over onto XE. And today, 20 Canadian is $14.60 American. So I paid a few years ago. Actually, the Canadian dollar was a little stronger a few years ago, but let's just say it's the same. I paid about $15 a few years ago, and in 97 it was 12. So these have not really increased in value much. Hicks, I've got that one. I've got Drake. Yeah, I've got Hudson. He's more because he was a UK exclusive. That's why his is... But $8 was pretty cheap for loose. And you got to remember, before eBay, before toy collecting really became a big thing, before people got really maniacal and insane about toy collecting, I'm not talking about just getting frustrated, but like violent. People get violent. I guess they got violent for those Cabbage Patch Kids. You heard about fist fights moms getting into fistfights trying to get Cabbage Patch dolls for their kids for Christmas in the early 80s. But yeah, back in the day, like, I'd look at this price and go, that's insane. That's way too much for a toy. And then today, you know, that seems cheap. I mean, that's actually what you pay today at Walmart for a brand new figure. So it just seems like prices have gone up and up and up, and we've just learned to accept it. That's just how it is now. And I saw up here Indiana Jones. They have some Indiana Jones. Look at that. $125 for an Arabian horse. If that's what it was worth in 97, it's got to be like 4 times that now. Belloc, Indiana Jones in German uniform. Look at the $650 for Belloc. I got one for $10 Canadian at Toys R Us last year. It was a reissue, but yeah, it's plastic. Plastic and soft goods. No one will ever convince me that my this Belloc in ceremonial robe for $650 is better than my $10 also plastic and soft goods Belloc. Super Gorilla Glue. Holy crap. Late to the show, but I have this. No way. That's cool. You still got it. I might. I'm not sure. I have a box of magazines somewhere. I don't know if this ToyFare is in it, but that's cool that you still have it. Flip along with your original while we're going through this. And Zan says, Elmo and Cabbage Patch Kids were the biggest brawl inducers. Yeah. Just insane. It's crazy. You hear a lot of people make threats on the internet, but to actually like fight somebody in person over a toy. Adventures of Batman and Robin. What else we got here? Star Wars Hologram Mania. Did I flip back? Here we go. This is that the Buck Rogers? BD. Yeah, it is. More price guides. This is really cool. At the time, I didn't care. But now, almost 30 years later, this is very interesting to see which ones are like crazy expensive compared to the other ones, like some of those indie figures. Nothing listed for these Batman toys. Interesting. Cylon Commander. Carded. That's interesting. Oh, that's wrong. Lucifer's worthless. Let's see. Big Shot. A lot of Battlestar Galactica. Beetlejuice. Worth more than Aliens figures. Go figure. Beetlejuice. Black Hole. Got a couple of those figures too, thanks to Bill as well. Black Hole. Buck Rogers. Look at this. Parachute pack, $275. That's a 1997 price. Now it's Pokemon cards at Costco. Yeah. People always fight over something. Doesn't matter what it is. It's just in people's nature sometimes to gotta fight over something. Holy smokes, 900. Oh, that's a 1967 Captain Action. Oh, that's real vintage. That's 66 to 67. Yeah, look at this, $1,000. Crazy. $3,500 for the Dr. Evil gift set. Wow. Captain Scarlet. They really went in depth on this price guide. I thought it would just be like 80s toys. 80s and 90s, but we're going back to 67. Conan Remco figures. Not worth that much at the time. Conan the Adventurer. Oh, that was based on Christy Marx's cartoon, probably. Conan the Adventurer. That's a great cartoon. And E.T. LJN's E.T. figures. Not worth that much. Mugshot Blizzard. This is fascinating. It's boring to look at. It's just a bunch of numbers, but I don't remember this price guide being in here. Flash Gordon figures. Let's see. Box set of 4 is worth a pretty penny. Captain Arak is worth quite a bit. Voltan is also worth quite a bit. Interesting. Flipped it. Wow, man, how many of these are there? Oh, man. Okay, I think I'm just going to skip the rest of these because I'm going to be here all day just looking through prices. What's this? Tarzan. Fascinating. Every time you press this button on his chest, his voice chip makes that Carol Burnett sound. There's Scotty over here. Stop it! You're whipping the monkeys into a wee... what does that say? Jackanape frenzy. Nice. Caliban. Oh, I've actually got that one. That's cool. Why does it look like his head splits open? Huh. Never noticed that on mine. Some kind of thing has captured a bunch of Star Trek guys. And Clayface. How long have we been going here? About an hour. Wow, that's a lot of price guide pages. I thought Lee's was the magazine with all the price stuff in it, but ToyFare has quite a bit of that stuff. I wonder why some of these are highlighted. Maybe it's just the person highlighted them. I didn't realize Trendmasters was around that long. 97. Okay. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Is there some down here? Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade toys? I don't remember ever seeing these. Indiana Jones with alligator, with jacket, 7-inch figures, with snake, Pepsi promo pack. Doesn't sound familiar. But Temple of Doom, I wish that we had these here, but I don't think I ever saw the LJN Temple of Doom figures. I would have snapped them up. I love Temple of Doom. Indy 140. It's got to be like 10 times that today if you can find one on a card. Raiders of the Lost Ark 12-inch Indy 320. Whew. Who had this kind of money back then to drop that much on a toy that wasn't really all that old? Like, if you think about it, in 1997 an 84 Indy wasn't that old. It was just a little over a decade old. You know, now all these expensive vintage toys are like 30 years old, some of them 40 years old. But to pay that much for a figure that was $3 in 1984, not a lot of people were willing to do that. Oh man. So many. Oh man. Look at all the price pages. This is crazy. Is this like the majority of the magazine? Now, I'll take a second to take a closer look at this one because I love me some Tick, the man-eating cow. So on the cartoon, it actually doesn't do anything. It just stands there. But in the comic, it's actually exactly what the name implies. It's a man-eating cow that wreaks havoc on the city, named the city, and they have to like hunt down this thing that keeps eating people. A man-eating cow. A little Star Wars thing over here. Only Imperial Jawas are this precise. Don't start some, and you won't get none. That's kind of like today's expression of mess about and find out. Predator figure. This is crazy. It's like a complete comprehensive price guide of every toy ever made. Well, up to 97. Barbie and Luke's. Head back to the 70s, loser. Don't know what that is. It's nice that they include these little comic funny things in here, because this is a lot of numbers. Hey, steroids kill, fellas. That and your cajoles will end up in the size of raisins. There's quite a few jokes here that are not, really aimed at little children. I guess this was a rated T for teen magazine or adults. Hey, Chico, this is for being a bad ethnic stereotype. Which is funny because Scott Hall wasn't even Cuban. This one's for the USA, scum. And this one's for political correctness. Putting the boots to Razor Ramon. YMC. Okay. Whew, that is a lot of price guide. Goodness gracious. Crazy. And we're in the final few pages of this. How to get in touch with your favorite toy company. Oh, no way. I don't know if I should be sharing that. I don't know if a lot of these companies would want to advertise, broadcast where they are and their numbers. Shows and cons. Man, 97. What was going on? Delaware had the Tri-State Comic and Collectibles Convention. Can I not zoom in anymore? Trying to zoom in here. Florida had the Mega Show Comic Book and Toy Show. Illinois had Star Wars, Star Trek Sci-Fi Convention. This is before all those actors were showing up to these conventions. Now, you get so many stars showing up to these conventions, but back then, I guess a lot of them thought it was beneath them. New Jersey Wildwood Toy Action Figure Comic Book. I mean, I could see why these conventions are so nice for celebrities to go to, because like you get so much, snotty comments on the internet. Of course, it'd be nice to meet people in person and hear people say how much they appreciate you and your work. Why wouldn't you even do it for free? But to go and get paid and do it, like, that's kind of a no-brainer. Pennsylvania, Maryland. I'm trying to find Michigan. I've been to a few in Michigan. Probably not going to mention any Canadian shows. Doesn't look like Michigan was doing anything at the time. New Jersey, New York, Texas. What was Texas doing? Arlington Action Figure Toy and Comic Show. Sneak peek at ToyFare number 2 with, is that supposed to be Magneto on the cover? Some kind of stylized Magneto. Firestar from Spider-Man and Amazing Friends. Toying around, the bane of my existence. Guest column. Oh, Chuck Dixon. That's cool. That's neat. Little guest article by Chuck Dixon. That people a lot of time accidentally call Buzz Dixon Chuck Dixon on some of the videos I've done with Buzz. I guess they're just so used to seeing the name Chuck Dixon. They see the name Dixon and they just associate Chuck with it instead of Buzz. We saw these earlier, Puppet Master, and that's it. Scanned and edited by Kitsunebi. Thank you very much to him or her. Fantastic work. Beautiful scans. That is ToyFare issue number 1. Very cool. Go back and take a look at that again. And that'll be it for me. I got some gardening to do now, but thanks guys for hanging out in the live stream chat today. Hope you're having a great weekend so far, and I'll see you again soon in the next live stream. History of Mask 86 is coming soon. Whenever I decide to drop that, that's let me grab this thing. If you're on Patreon, you can watch it right now if you're a $5 and up member. Advanced screening ad-free is up on Patreon for $5 and up members. Patreon.com/MichaelMercy. Otherwise, it will be up on the channel in a bit. And that's it. That's the stream for today. Thanks everyone for watching. And where's my little Nerdmas Day? There it is. Nerdmas Day graphic. Nerdmas Day. Have a great one. See ya.